Much lighter conditions greeted the competitors for race 4. Another 2-race day, the lighter conditions were sure to suit the Europeans. Houston and Spencer had gateboat duties after finishing 10th the previous race. Also heading to the right were Martin and Nelson, looking for a clear place to start. And it was to prove a successful move with a wind shift to the right favouring the competitors on that side of the course. There are 2 courses, today's being the short course. Competitors tack up into the wind, round the top mark past a clearance flag and come downwind through a gate where they can elect which way to pass. Martin and Nelson were the first to round the top mark, followed by the Super Danes of Jan Saugmann and Morten Ramsbaek. Third was Hasso Plattner and Pete O'Leary. Hasso is one of the owners of SAP and therefore the principal sponsor of the event. Following them were a large pack of boats, including the gate boat and the winners of race 1 and 3. Downwind in the lighter conditions, it is quicker for the 5 to run to the mark rather than reach, and the runs are a perfect tactical opportunity to pass boats. The Super Danes are the masters of light wind running and use their skill to move into the lead. Second were Martin and Nelson. For League 2, after the competitors clear the gate, they again sail back upwind to the top mark. They then reach to the wing mark, jibe, and then reach to the bottom mark. The Danes were also quick uphill and extended their lead. Our 2 lead boats had gained some good ground on the pursuers, which included the Germans George and Rix, and then Hamlin and Lanzinger and Plattner and O'Leary. Also having a great race were the French team of Bertrand Loyal and Laurent Niveau. They jibe at the wing mark in 6th place behind Plattner and O'Leary. Then it was a string of Australians at the jibe mark, including Finglas, Malcolm Higgins and Jewson. Nice jibe. And still the big names keep coming. Con este guatón pelado sin vergüenza, peludo en otras partes, pero a quien le interesa, cocino 10 vienesas, me siento en la mesa a comerlas una por una, y mira me agarra la tula. For leg 3, after completing another beat and a run, competitors sail one final beat to the finish. Martin and Nelson in second, showing us how it's done. As are the Super Danes with perfect technique at the front of the fleet. On the final run, Martin and Nelson elect to split off from Saugmann and Ramsbaek. As do Pennell and Hunt in 5th, but not Plattner and O'Leary. If it seems like your troubles coming numbers, get faith. You know that Finglas and Watson misjudge the ley line and come in just under the mark and have to tack twice to clear it. If it seems like your troubles coming numbers, let it be. You know the universe works wonders. At the bottom mark, the Super Danes maintain their position from Martin and Nelson, but Hamlin and Lanzinger have moved into 3rd. And they stay in that order with the short fetch to the finish. 4th is George and Rix, who are very happy with the result. Hasso Plattner scored a 7th, and the first Australian home in the lighter conditions were Finglas and Watson in 9th. Race 5 started after the conclusion of race 4, so again was in light conditions. The gateboat was Ebby Rosen and Ollie Wenrup from Sweden. In nearly every race, the boat from Zimbabwe elected to start first, coming off the pin and heading to the left as fast as they could go. This did ensure they got clear air, but it could cost them if the wind swung right, which it did in this race. There's a fantastic close-up shot of a boat moving along nicely. Patrick McCosh and David Horsfall of the Zimbabwe tack and look to be well placed. However, it was Kevin Cameron and Jerry Manders sailing their boat, the Full Monty, who worked to the right and led at the top mark. Second around was the gate boat of Rosen and Wenrup, and the French team of Loyal and Niveau were third. The winners of race 4, the Super Danes Saugmann and Ramsbaek, were next in front of Parker Shin and Gareth Williams. The light conditions didn't suit some of the heavier teams. Looks like Cuneo and Warlow couldn't find a path at the mark. With very little tide, most boats went looking for pressure on the run, most choosing to do a bear-away set. By the bottom mark, the Swedes had moved into the lead, with the French team up to second, whilst the Full Monty boys were back in third. The light conditions kept the fleet tightly bunched, and early in the racing led to some very busy mark roundings. Greg Illman and Andrew Slater, sailing into the red, were having one of their best races. Rosen and Wenrup from Sweden continued to lead at the second top mark, but the Aussies were back in second. At the wing mark, the Super Danes were moving forward. They were up to fourth. Some of the crews that had excelled in the windy weather are back a little in the lighter winds. Mike Holt and Carl Schmidt worked hard to gain some places on the jibe, as did Finglas and Watson, though theirs looked a little messy. Whilst there wasn't much wind, it was a beautiful day for a sail. For Hamlin and Lanzinger, this was one of their worst days. Howie has a formidable record in 505s, winning the World Championships in '99 and finishing second 6 times previously. Kevin Tor and John Bell were having a great regatta, but this race was their worst. On the final run, the Swedes extended their lead. The Queenslanders stayed in second and the French were third, with the Super Danes fourth. Moving into fifth were the Germans Boris Herrmann and Julian Kleiner. Our 2 heavy air race winners were back around 9th and 10th. By the end, Rosen and Wenrup had a lead of nearly 2 minutes, but it was a yellow boat 1-2 as the French moved up to second and the Super Danes grabbed third to take the overall lead in the regatta. Michael Quirk and Jeff Lang, who had won the Australian Championships the week before, had their best race so far with a 7th, and Higgins and Marsh grabbed 12th to move to 3rd overall. After 5 races, competitors can drop their worst race. That means that Morten and Nelson from the US lead from Saugmann and Ramsbaek, and Higgins and Marsh are in 3rd place overall. Now let's hear from our race winners, the Danes in race 4 and the Swedes in race 5. Okay, now today you had a fantastic day. You won the first race,
yep.
And you got third in the second race.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So what was the difference for you guys today?
Definitely the lighter wind, and we changed the jib, so we had a Dagon jib instead of a Kevlar. And in general, we are pretty good in the medium to light stuff, and we definitely benefited for the more regular shift that we see in the previous races. We didn't have the situation, except from the first beat in the first race today. There wasn't any of those very big shifts where you could get caught on the wrong side. It was more like the small shift you could tack on, and we did a lot of tacking, and that was probably the secret.